This crispy chicken is from a taco place. This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Happy Victory Monday, Bronco Nation. Welcome on into BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains. We got Brad Bedell with us. As always, we're brought to you by our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, RowePaint.com. All your painting needs, whether it's those interior, exterior concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, whatever you need, they got you covered. Andy Rowe, RowePaint.com. And Brad, a little better post-game show to talk about, a little better week ahead here as the Boise State football team coming off a expected but dominant, much improved 51-14 win over Eastern Washington on Friday night.
I would agree. Get back on track. People want to say it's just, it's just Eastern Washington, but if that didn't go their way, it would be the same stuff we're talking about. So, hey, they did what they had to do, and indecisive, over 600 yards offense. So I saw some good improvement. We'll get into that, but it's always better when you get back on track, especially going into a bye, with a very not awkward, but an Air Force team coming up, get an extra week on them. and get to catch up on some recruiting.
AP says, just here to listen to BJ and the crew gas up the USF loss for the next 2 weeks because they beat Florida. The loss on paper looks a little bit better now, but I don't think the jogging to the football and some of the big mistakes we saw in that game and some of the effort issues, I don't think those just go away, Brad, because Boise State, because USF has looked to end up being pretty good maybe by going and beating Florida. I mean, certainly from a national perspective, that loss looks a little bit better now, but there were some glaring issues in that game that don't just go away because because of who you played and what they ended up doing. But a lot of those issues we saw, not hustling to the ball, no turnovers on defense, giving up a lot of big plays, all the things we talked about, for the most part, we can get into special teams a little bit, but for the most part, there was improvement in a lot of the issues we saw in that South Florida game.
No doubt, and there's personnel changes. I mean, he said after that game, I'm going to look at everything, and they have jobs on the line. So you saw some different personnel changes. I'm here to gas up South Florida. The game's over. I mean, it's a loss. They lost. South Florida's a good football team. We knew they were. If you didn't know they were a good football team after the crushing Boise State, then you're a moron. They're a good football team. They beat Florida. Congratulations. They're moving on to their schedule. Boise State has to take care of their schedule, and let's see what happens in the end. But for us to continue to dwell on South Florida is a complete waste of time. And it would be another thing we would be talking about South Florida if they still saw the lack of running to the football, the pre-snap penalties, the turnovers. But you didn't see that. So why great. South Florida is good.
Well, I think
beat it. Good luck to the American and move on.
I think a lot of people said, can say, oh, the loss looks better now because South Florida went and beat Florida. And I do think, I mean, yes, on paper, sure. Okay, well, South Florida just proved it. They're a pretty good team. If they lost 55-0 or whatever to Florida, you might have gone, okay, well, not only did they lose bad, they lost bad to a bad team. I mean, I think it at least makes you feel a little bit better if you're a Boise State fan. Okay, at least we lost to a good team. But like I said, the actual issues in that game don't just go away because of, the next week they beat Florida.
It's a loss. I don't give a crap what it looks like. It's a loss. I'm sorry. I don't care what it looks like on paper. In the building, it was still a loss. They're still 1-1, not 2-0. Period.
Yep. Well,
I mean, I don't want to say what looks good on paper. I mean, sure, down the road, let's say Boise State wins out, right? Boise State wins out. The win for Fresno this past weekend, there's another upset in the Mountain West, wasn't there?
There were some teams that I wanted to talk about that barely won. There was some
right.
Nevada squeaked by, your Colorado State, your darlings squeaked by. There were some really weird scores.
At the end of the day, that helps the strength of schedule once you're coming down to making decisions or computers and all that. But it doesn't. You want South Florida to beat Miami. You want them to continue to win, but you want them to stumble once they get in conference with 2 or 3 losses. But until then, you want them to continue to beat the big boys because at the end of the day, it looks good because of strength of schedule purposes. But when you're still sitting at 1-1, and you got to take care of business and really, I mean, you're in a tight margin future, right? If you want to go to the playoff, but it looks good on paper, but in that building, it still says 1-1. And we still, and the staff is still, and the players are still going to say, we got our butts kicked. So, I mean, yeah, for the fan to look at on paper, great, but it's still a crushing opening of the season. So.
And the other game you're probably talking about is UNLV beating UCLA, but UCLA is, in name, they're a program, but they're 0-2 now, and I don't think they're expected to be anything crazy this year. But UNLV's 3-0, and then the better record they have coming into Boise, and later in the season, the better, I guess. But I'm still not sold on UNLV either, and we'll have plenty of time all week with no game this week to maybe really dive into some of the other Mountain West teams and games. Brad, by the way, I'm wearing the Circa Survivor hat here because not only are my entries moving on. First, you're moving on, correct?
I am
now,
moving on. A lot better than last week. Last year, I'm sorry.
Let the folks know here. Okay, $1,000 Survivor. You pay $1,000. We've talked about it before. You get your buddies together. You go down to Circa. Brad, who came down, you and Rid and some buddies got it together, and you're in. And what is the? You had to pick a name for the team. What was your team name?
Hoping to make it to week 2.
hoping to make it to week 2 was the team name. And the proxy laughed when he read it on the paper and said, that's great. And sure enough, you're moving on to week 2. Denver Broncos, correct?
Took the Denver Broncos, a little dicey at the start. Bo did not look very good at the start of the game, but had a good second half and moving on. Now, you only need wins and losses, so you don't need the spread.
Yep.
So that's important to know. And then the other one that we're all together in is Arizona. They won, so they're moving on.
That was dicey a little bit too. Yes, the very end. Kellen Moore, and I felt weird rooting against Kellen Moore, and I hope I don't have to do that much more the rest of the season. But they had the ball at about the 20-yard line on a 4th down or last play of the game there, and they had a shot into the end zone to potentially, whether it be an extra point to tie the game or go for 2 to win the game to knock us out week 1. But we're all moving on in the $1,000 survivor pool, so we're 1 week closer to offering free subscriptions for a year, I guess, for BNN folks.
That's right. Hey, I'll tell you one thing. I bet you whoever took Baltimore, if they did.
There were 5 people. 5 people.
5 people. Okay. That's a game I was not going to touch because the week 1, 2 unbelievable quarterbacks, they probably felt pretty good going to bed, going up by 30-3 or something like that. And then you wake up the next day and you've lost. You got to be like, oh no, this is BS.
I don't think it was quite 30-3, but it was it was a 15-point game with like 8 minutes to go or something. And
they scored 16 points in 4 minutes.
And Derrick Henry had just been running all over him and has that costly fumble. I mean, that was just an insane game. And Matt Prater, the 41-year-old who had, wasn't even on a team a couple days ago, hits the field goal. And that was, that was insane. Khalil Shakir, Boise State product, got out there. I know he had missed a lot with an ankle injury during camp, but he got out there and didn't actually start and didn't play his normal amount of snaps, but he was out there and had a couple nice catches in that game and working himself back in there. But a nice win for the Buffalo Bills. And as I said, Kellen Moore, all things considered, Brad, I thought it was not a terrible debut. I mean, they were supposed to lose. I think the spread was 6.5, and that was right about what ended up being 7 points. And you have the ball, with a chance on 20 yards from potentially tying the game on the last play of the game. I mean, with Spencer Rattler as your quarterback. I mean, I think all things considered, I didn't think it was a terrible debut for Kellen Moore.
No, not at all. They put points, they move the ball well, things like that. It's just, cost some mistakes in the red zone and not finishing drives, things like that. And in that league, you got to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, look at Miami. Everybody thought Miami is so good, and they laid an egg to the Indianapolis Colts. So you just never know week 1, week 2. The only thing I want to know is I really hope Kellen had anything to do with that uniform combo that they were wearing, because that was really bad. They looked like a bunch of mustard hot dogs when they started sweating. It was really gross.
Mustard. I didn't particularly love the uniforms, but they were different there for sure. But I'm excited now that we got our Cardinals pick out of the way. I can pull for Kellen Moore here moving forward, and I think they got some wins on. I think he's gonna. I was encouraged, even though they lost, in some of the things I saw there. So
with what they have to do roster wise and things like that, I think I wouldn't be shocked if you saw him at 7 wins this year. 7, 8 wins, maybe. That offense is strong. The defense needs to stop some people, and they got to stop people, get off the field on 3rd down. But I think he's going to be perfectly fine. And as you see roster changes to fit that offense of what he needs, the explosive wideouts, not just one. He needs 3. That's what he had. He had a good wide receiver core in Dallas, and they were averaging 40 points a game. So I have no concern of what Kellen's going to do for the Saints.
Now, Ashton Genty, 19 carries, only gets 38 yards, but does score his first NFL touchdown. And the Las Vegas Raiders are 1-0 after winning in New England 20-13.
Right. And that really doesn't, that's the hardest thing is, and if people just want to bash that stuff, it's not rookie running backs. Remember, we talked about him getting drafted. I think a phenomenal season for a rookie running back is about 600 to 700 yards. Mm-hmm. And they're not all Todd Gurley's who had over 1,000. So he's going to be fine. And everybody's like, oh, not Boise State people, because the UNLV fans, I don't know what's their deal is. They just love to bash and they just stop. You guys haven't just stop. Okay. And so I think he's going to be really good. I think shore up some things up front. but I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. It's just running backs take a minute. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And preseason has nothing to do with it. I mean, preseason, it's like quarterbacks, right? Preseason, it's like 4 down, cover 4. The coaches don't game plan for it. They just put in the first couple of weeks of install and say, okay, this is what we're running on game 1. Game 2, you get a little bit of a taste. Game 3, a lot of guys aren't even playing. So you need to work your way through game from week 1 on.
Well, the quarterback, Geno Smith, 362 passing yards and a touchdown. He looked decent in his first game with the Raiders as well. And I know the offensive line was something that they were all off season saying had to get fixed there in Las Vegas, and we'll see what ends up happening there. But 20-13, Ashton Genty. I mean, again, he ain't going to remember the 19 for 38 10 years from now. He's going to remember his first career touchdown.
Absolutely, and I hope there are many more to come. So Raiders are going to be fun.
But overall, a fun NFL Week 1 slate. You had some blowouts, you had some good games, some close ones, and obviously it ended up last night with the epic finish there on Sunday night, and a lot of Boise State players involved throughout the day. So we'll update our article. We have a blog post or a message board post, Broncos in the NFL, and we update that every week with kind of the stats and how guys from Boise State did in the NFL over the weekend. So we'll update that, and that'll be updated at BroncoNationNews.com shortly. You do have the what is it? The Vikings at the Bears tonight. I'm trying to, off the top of my head, I'm probably missing one, but is there any Boise State connections in the Vikings and Bears game? You got your boy Cleveland, right?
No, he's
in Jacksonville.
He's in Jacksonville. They put
Madison left.
Madison got hurt in Miami
Somebody might tell me, but I don't think there's a connection anymore with Vikings. They had a couple there for a while.
No, there's not.
I don't think so. So no Vikings, no Bears, no Boise State connection tonight on Monday Night Football. But Brad, we're moving on and already been studying the weekly schedule here for week 2 to see who are. Do you already have somebody in mind?
No, I haven't really looked at it. I got to see how J.J. McCarthy plays.
I was going to say I want to watch the Vikings tonight because they might be a team that might be one I'm going to look at next week.
Yeah, we'll see how J.J. McCarthy looks.
They're saying sorry about Kansas in the chat. It was a tough one. There was a fourth. It was a real tough one, Brad. But you know what? We on the road more than held our own, and if not for that, kind of late touchdown with a minute to go would have covered the spread, and that hurt actually too. But there was a fourth. There was a. I mean, props to Mizzou. They dominated the game. It was amazing. We were even that close in it. But I mean, there's 6 minutes to go. It was a 4th and 10. At like their own 35, and they don't trust their kicker, and they go for it, and the guy makes a great catch falling out of bounds. I mean, if there was so many single plays that I think Kansas could have snuck away there with a victory, but we probably didn't deserve to win. So shout out Missouri. And now Big 12 schedule starts out pretty nicely for us. We could be 3-0 here in Big 12 maybe and try to still go on the run. So I got my over 7.5 wins ticket from Circa that I'm still hanging on to, and we're 2-1. So we're 2-1, and we'll see. So
were you pretty butthurt about the kicker, the fan that came up? Did you see that?
I did.
That's
the guy had. I think it might have been planted to begin with. I think they might have just done that all along. But
here we go.
He said he couldn't make a 45-yarder, so he said, "Well, let's just kick it at their bench instead." Like, cool, good for them. So
pulled up his shirt and said FKU.
Yeah, I know. Well, they had the Mr. Brightside song where they chant FKU the whole time. So it is what it is. I'll just say it was a really fun. I'm sure Boise State fans enjoyed it too, watching the games all day. When when Boise State got out of the way Friday night, Brad, and you had all day Saturday to watch college, all day Sunday to watch NFL. I wasn't flying back from a game or something and missing part of it. I mean, it was just a perfect weekend for everybody. And when you win 51-14, that puts you in a good mood for the rest of the weekend as well.
There's no doubt. And you get to enjoy everybody else's misery for the rest of the weekend.
All right, let's get to the game. And there wasn't much misery for Boise State in this one. 51-14 was the final. I do want to get some thoughts on the sound system. A lot of people in the message boards were saying it was too loud. If you went to the game, what was your game day experience like? Was the music too loud? How long were the bathroom lines, concession stands, getting into the stadium with the tickets? Any thoughts you have on the game day experience if you were at the game, let us know. We can get into that as well. But I do want to touch on some of the stats and highlights from the game, and we'll do that in just a second here. I want to thank rowpaint.com, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and Company. Rowpaint.com, all your painting needs, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, industrial, commercial, they can do it all Andy Rowe, and that's rowpaint.com. Hey, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. You saw their little game there in between one of the timeouts with grabbing the money. And by the way, I didn't think the lady was trying that hard to grab the money in the game there. If anybody agrees with me, I don't know. But they had what do they call that, Brad, where they put you in the little chamber and they have the money flying around and you get 30 seconds to try to grab as much as you can inside the little I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was what's called the money grab. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is. But, I mean, you had 30 seconds to grab as much money as you could, and she didn't seem like she was trying that hard. So I don't know. But ICCU.com, we appreciate them. Idaho Central Credit Union, all their support of Bronco Nation News. So check them out if you're interested in switching over to a bank. I highly, highly recommend it. Best in the business, Idaho Central Credit Union. It was really cool to see them back on the field, back on the blue, back in the stadium as a partner of Boise State Athletics. Again, ICCU.com. Hey, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com is their website. The SON management, the Nicolason family, we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. And you can get the all-new chicken and steak street chalupas. Maybe it's the $3 Chipotle Ranch grilled steak burrito, or how about the all-new crispy chicken strips? My boys are loving the Mountain Dew Baja Midnight Freeze as well. Taco Bell, the future of fast food. You can visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Hey, I hope you're getting your trading cards. $12.99. Get a pack of trading cards. You have a 1 in 10 chance at an autographed card. There's a lot of great different cards and things you can get there, and that's brought to you by Jackson's. And still waiting for the the Breezy Bundle and the Latrell Caples deal. Hopefully that'll come next week against Air Force. But when Latrell Caples gets a touchdown, you get any size fountain drink for 49 cents. That's with Let's Go Rewards, and that's the Monday following the game, so hopefully we can get that taken care of. But again, head on out to Jackson's and purchase those trading cards. Heard great reviews about the different merchandise stands for the Blue and Orange store. They had one out there on the corner by University Boulevard, right by the Jackson's, actually across the street, all throughout the stadium. They had the Hall of Fame location, so let us know your thoughts on that as well. The Blue and Orange store and all the merchandise options that they had. TheBlueandOrangeStore.com. You can order anywhere in the world, or you can order right there in the Boise Town Square Mall location, or the new location there at the Hall of Fame. And they're now the official in-venue merchandise provider. So they'll be at Extra Mile Arena. They've got the little pop-up out at soccer and volleyball. And so if you're looking for Boise State gear, you need to go no further than the Blue and Orange store. And there's a announcement coming today, Brad Bedell. I will just say sounds like they teased it yesterday. They had a picture of a helmet. I don't know if you saw that. And they had a new little 208 logo on it on the front. And it said something coming today. So sounds like some sort of new helmet design or helmet or uniform or something. We'll see what happens today. But it looks like there's some announcement coming today in regards to that here on the bye week on a Monday. But Brad, you did a great job on the post-game show. Appreciate you for sticking around and doing that. So we heard some thoughts, immediately after the game, but now you've had a couple days to kind of sit on it and study the tape and the stats. What kind of stands out to you? We wanted to see some turnovers from the defense, and we saw that. They had 2 of them in that game. We wanted to see them establish the run offensively, and they rushed for over 300 yards in that game. 4 runners with at least 35 yards rushing, 5 with at least 20 yards rushing. The explosive plays that we really wanted to see and didn't see. You had a 46-yard catch for Chris Marshall, a 60-yard catch for Ben Ford. You had a run of 77 from Dylan Riley, 46 for Sire Gaines. Sherrod and Cam Bates both had 20-yard runs. I mean, the explosive plays were certainly back in the offense. And I know it was Eastern Washington, and I know some people just kind of throw that out and take everything with a grain of salt, but that's who you played, and you'd much rather see positive things than have another game with negatives. So overall, kind of offensively, defensively, I do want to get into some of the issues still on special teams at some point, but what kind of your general takeaways from this one?
I'll start with offense. Really balanced. 22 first downs total, 11 passing, 11 rushing. So, that's what, you establish a run and everything, play action off of that. So I think that's really good. Rushing wise, anytime you rush for over 300 yards, it's a very good afternoon. And it really doesn't matter who you're playing. It's just a dominant performance, especially up front. I thought they played really well. I think you saw a lot of just owning the line of scrimmage and getting off to the second level, which I don't think they did a great job versus South Florida. Now, given South Florida was a little bit bigger up front. So I thought they did a great job second level blocking and creating the cutback lane, which was a lot better than it was week 1. anytime your average rush is 8.4 yards a carry, that's really, I mean, that's good. But the passing is what's going to be interesting is average completion, 18.2 yards. So, and I think obviously the explosive passes help, but it's something to build on. I mean, it really is with, especially for who, if you really look at the individual receiving, obviously Chris Marshall went off for 4 receptions for 132. I mean, he's going to be the guy that they're going to rely on separation, right? And early in that first quarter, Maddox had to squeeze the ball a little bit because there wasn't a whole lot of separation. And then that got better through the game, and it always helps. If you're going to run for 300, they got to put somebody in the box. And so now that's where your explosive play should be coming. And Chris Marshall took advantage of that. Ben Ford had a game, 3 receptions for 82 yards. I'm really happy for that kid. And then the tight end is always going to be, Matt's always going to be there. He's always going to be, he's like your crutch, right? If you need something, a stop route or spacing concept, he's always going to be open. He has an unbelievable feel, especially in zone, of where to sit down and where to find the holes. I think he's a really good player. I'm always been a big fan of him. Latrell, who I thought they're going to end up double teaming Marshall. Okay. And then I thought Latrell would go off, but he had 1 catch for 11 yards, which is fine. I think that it builds over time. And then you got a lot of kids with a lot of receiving, 1 catch here, 1 catch there, but they spread the ball around really well. And I thought that was really good. As for defensively, I mean, if you really the stats, Eastern Washington had 13 first downs, right? Only 5 of those were on passing yards. So I think, the coverage is good. They were outmatched up front. They only averaged 3.8 yards a carry. So I think you're in good shape there. And then their average completion was 9.3 yards. So, total offense, they gave, Eastern Washington 293 yards, but they only averaged per play at 4.3. So I think defensively, you saw some good things. The turnovers were really good. It's things to build on. I'm excited to see the defense continue to grow, but you gotta, which is interesting now, is the tackling was better, especially in space, which is vital. If I would have really been nervous having this conversation, if even in a blowout win like they had, but the tackling still wasn't great. You got a bye week to fix it, but you got a team with a triple coming, or you're going to face a triple option, which that's all tackling. And so I thought the tackling was better. And so I thought something to build on through the course of the year. And rightfully so. Tackling should get better as the kids see game speed. And so I think going into the bye week, you still got to work the tackling, especially the vice tackling, which you got to vice the defender, especially in the triple. And so it was good. It was really good to see. I'm not everything was pretty. I mean, but the pre-snap penalties were better. Offense didn't give a bunch of turnovers. Defense played improvements. The kicking game, obviously you had an opportunity on the kickoff return. He took it out of the end zone. I think he ended up on the 19. That's a thing where, he may have just gotten the green light because they were up so much. Hey, you got the green light, take it. The punts, was better. Punt returns fine. The missed field goals, that's something that has to be improved on. I know that, Rid mentioned it's going to work itself out. I don't coach kickers. Like I said, I don't understand. Like, it's a mindset thing. I don't know, but that's something that it's almost like every week we got to talk about something on special teams. And that I do think that'll work itself out just off of reps and competition and getting the young men in some uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be in tight games, in the future, if you're going to be in tight games, you've got to rely on the kicker. And so you got to find, like Rid brought up a good point on Friday. It was actually before you got here because we talked about it, is you got to find a guy who is 100, just money inside the 40. You just rely on him. And then your big-footed kicker outside the 40, especially they're going into altitude. Are you going to trust those guys to get points on the board? Or is it, a Missouri, they made the big play, right? We don't trust the kickers, so we have to go for it all the time. So I think you got to you got to work that out. And I think, it'll get worked out, but I don't know how quick. I just don't know kickers that well.
Yeah. And that's, certainly I don't think anybody feels good about the kicking situation right now. And to be 2 games into the season and not have any idea who your kicker is or who you trust to make a kick is not where you want to be. I thought Cannon Moore, the true freshman that came in, if he had made that, and he had a chip shot there at the end of the game, if he had made that, he'd have been 2 for 2 on field goals. He'd have been 4 for 4, whatever it was, on extra points. He would have been the starting kicker going forward. But now, that last kind of chip shot that he missed opened the door back up. But you've got Reeser, you've got Boomer, you've got him, you've got 3 guys. And I guess the bye week's a good week to have some competition here in practice. But you're going to go into the Air Force game not really feeling great about that situation, regardless of who they pick.
Yeah, I think it's a confidence thing, right? And I think it's a confidence thing for the players and the coaches. And until they show that, hey, I'm money, just put the ball down, let me kick. It's a confidence thing that right now, I don't know. Either one of them, they got the yips. I don't know. It's like once you find a bad golf shot, it's hard to correct. And so it comes down to a confidence thing, but I do think it will get worked out over time. But the other thing is, like, practice is the one thing. Like, you could put an offense in a situation, you could put a defense in an uncomfortable situation. That field goal kicker is, you need to get the whole team rallied around him, throwing stuff at him, yelling at him. If you miss this, it's 50 gassers. I don't know. You got to put something on it. But that balance of, okay, you can't crush the kid and all of a sudden he's making the whole team run. Now your O linemen are like, dude, you better make this because I'm not running. Right. And all of a sudden he gets in the locker room and he doesn't make it. And so there's that balance that you need.
Yeah.
And I think they'll find it. It's just one of those kids has just got to grab the confidence and have a mindset of, it's my job. I'm going to be the kicker at Boise State, and I'm going to make everything. And we haven't seen this in a while, right?
I was going to say
sacks. You had some really money guys the last 6 years.
Yep. The last 4 or 5, Jonah Dalmas. You didn't really, he was the number 3 kicker in NCAA history or whatever. This is not something the Boise State fans were used to dealing with as a kicker. The problem is, Brad, field goal kicking is not the only special teams issue right now. They had the 2 missed field goals, the block extra point, but the return game, they're still not getting the ball really past the 20-yard line. They had 2 penalties on the same punt return on one play. There was another time where they ran into the kicker, and they were lucky a couple times that it wasn't called again, where I thought that they ran into the kicker and it wasn't called. I think part of that had to do with the score and the ref wanted to just get out of there in the second half. But, it was, you had the one really nice, 59-yard punt. And that has been the one nice thing I will say is Oscar Doyle. You lose James Ferguson Reynolds, who statistically actually didn't have a great season last year. And I know everybody loved him, and he led the nation, in net punt yards 2 years ago or whatever it was. And last year, Styles just didn't mesh with the kicker and with Stacy, and he ends up leaving and going to Oregon. And a lot of people were saying that's a big miss, losing him to Oregon and stuff. But Oscar Doyle, Weber State punter, comes in and actually has done a pretty nice job. I don't know where he ranks or stat-wise, but there hasn't been any shanks or anything just horrible with him. And he had the 59-yard punt, which Ty Benefield downed at the 4. So I thought that was a very nice positive. But to me, the punting game is one of the only positives right now. You're not getting much in the return game. You're still committing too many penalties on special teams, and then you throw in the issues on the the field goal and extra point. And overall, special teams still has some work to do.
Yeah, I do think there's a couple of things. I thought on the punt return game, thought the returner, he did make that decision. The ball bounced the wrong way where he was screaming, Peter, Peter, Peter. He was not gonna get to that ball. Not him, right? And so bad bounce goes over his head. Those are gonna happen. I would rather have seen that happen than he runs up, it hits him, and then it's a turnover, right? So the punt, the other thing about the roughing the kicker and something like that is what point was that in the game? Was it late? I can't remember.
When they called the 5-yard one?
Right.
I don't remember. I just remember there was at least 2 others that should have been called.
Let's say it's the third quarter, something like that. He may be just going for the block, right? Or, the other things is, and I've seen this because we had to, I did some special team stuff in Auburn with the punt team, is when teams kind of got up on us, or when we got up on teams, we were going to throw a block that nobody just throw it in there. So they had to work on it. And so now you're going, hey, we're going for the block, and they run to the kicker, right? I mean, you tell them don't do that and all that stuff. It's going to happen. So I'm interested to see that. I don't know when it was in that game, if they're just working on some or just showing something on film to make the other team, oh man, this is really hard. We got to work on this. And then they got something else off of that. But it needs to be more consistent than it is.
And as you said, it hasn't necessarily, I mean, I guess you could say the blocked punt cost them in that, or the fake field goal, whatever it was, fake punt touchdown in the USF game cost them, sure.
Right.
But the last game, the missed field goals, the blocked extra point didn't cost them because they won 51-14. But you go on the road at Air Force, I mean, you got to be able to, are you going to have, if you're Spencer Danielson, you're like, are we going to have to go for a 4th and 6 now or a 4th and 8 because we can't make a 45-yard field goal? Or are you going to be, having to make decisions in game now based on the kicking? And we got Andrew Hutton, the long snapper's dad, in here, one of the best long snappers in America right now. And I know he's been pretty outspoken about the kicking game. He says confidence is crucial in kicking.
I would agree with him 100%. It's not, I mean, everybody's just like, oh, just make the kick. I mean, it's not like that. There's a science to this thing that, like I said, I don't quite understand. I just know this. If the kicker is shaky and the kicker is not confident, you're putting him out there and you're not allowing him to succeed. You've got to build confidence in kickers, right? It's the same thing with a quarterback who's afraid to throw it over the middle because he's worried about linebackers on slant routes. Then you got to take that whole game out of your game plan. And it's not the confidence in the kicker is huge, and you got to build that over the next 2 weeks. And then, but the other thing is you put him out on the field and he drills a 42, boom, confidence builder. Drills a 38, confidence builder. So I don't think you can go away from it so fast and then you've lost almost every kicker on your roster. You need to continue. They've got to push through some things and in turn just build confidence and let them push through the downtime. And they'll do that. And I think the kickers are going to figure it out. I think they'll build the confidence. And so we'll see in a couple of weeks.
A couple other things you mentioned that I want to get to here. But first, Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game, thespateam.com. We appreciate them and their support of Bronco Nation News. Whether it's a sauna, whether it's a spa, whether it's a pool table, they got you covered. Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, and Nampa. They've been around since 1978, and they're part of that Boise State home team. So next time you're looking for a spa, look no further than thespateam.com. Hey, that fall kickoff sale is going on at Lithia Ford at Boise. Jay and I were out there driving around in the 2025 Expedition Max. That was an awesome vehicle for Friday's show, and appreciate Jim Sturk and company out there at Lithia Ford at Boise. Never a better time to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle, and head on out this week to Lithia Ford at Boise. Check them out online at lithiafordboise.com. Hey, Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley yet again is Matt Bauscher. We bought and sold our home using Matt and his team. Tremendous customer service. Tremendous detailed help every step of the way. Kelly and the whole crew just did a tremendous job. So BauscherRealEstate.com. Check them out online and you will not be disappointed. I know everybody has friends, family members that are realtors, but if you want someone that's going to fight for every dollar, that is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. I know Johnny and the crew were out there broadcasting from the Middleton location on a Thursday, I think it was, but Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. And they just have that friendly atmosphere, that hometown kind of family feel when you walk into a Ridley's. And I recommend the Kuna location, a lot of the other locations as well. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Hey, transportation compliance service, transcompservice.com. You can get into the trucking industry, transcompservice.com, whether it's the DOT, overweight, all the various things that they have, the paperwork and things that you need. You need paper, the paperwork and stuff to get out there towing that first load. Let the professionals at Transportation Compliance Service help you out. transcompservice.com. Hey, we are still taking the voicemails, and I actually have one I want to play here for you, Brad, in a second. Speakpipe.com/BNN. You can leave us voicemails for the post-game show, for a daily show, whatever you got. If you got something on your mind, you want to get off your chest, something you like, something you didn't like, something you heard that you agreed with, disagreed with, let us know. Speakpipe.com/BNN. You can leave us a voicemail. And it's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof, repair, an estimate, or an inspection. All your roofing needs. Make sure you hit up Signature Roofing at mysignatureroofing.com. Brad, Chris W has done a tremendous job sending in voicemails. I'm going to hook Chris W up with a gift card to the James. So, Chris, appreciate you for always leaving the voicemails. $25 gift card to the James is yours, Chris, and we'll be giving away all kinds of gift cards for folks periodically with good calls and good voicemails. So, if you want a chance to win a gift card to one of our sponsors, we have some Jackson's gift cards as well. You need to leave us a voicemail, as Chris has been doing, and some others, and we'll pick one out here every so often. But here was Chris W on the game.
All right, guys. So still the fourth quarter here, but all the starters are out. It looks like some thoughts on the game. Obviously, in a much better mood than I was last week, and I think all of us were in last week. Encouraged by the offense, but not impressed. I wouldn't say. There was still a lot of mental mistakes, shooting themselves in the foot, just stuff that needs cleaned up. I mean, you got Madsen and Gaines going the opposite way on a run play. Just dumb mistakes like that where against this team, they should have been pulled, the starting offense should have been out much earlier than they were. So, better, but not impressive, I would say. Ben Ford is a stud. Cam Bates is a lightning rod and needs more manufactured touches. Sire Gaines is what we thought he was. Defensively, Jaden Mickey, he should have been playing last week. He's the most impressive player from tonight, in my opinion. Devon Banks and Jeremiah Irby need to be benched. Every time Franklin Johnson was in, he was in sticky coverage. The defense was much more impressive than the offense, in my opinion. Can't wait to see what happens against Air Force.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Chris W, for the voicemail there. Anytime you can leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN, and we will play those post-game, pre-game throughout the week. And Chris, reach out to me with an email or something, and we will hook you up with a $25 gift card to the James Kitchen and Bar. So as I said, if other folks want some cool gift cards like this one right here, then you can leave us a voicemail, and we'll pick out one or two a week and give out some stuff for that. Couple things there. I do think the Jaden Mickey discussion is worth having. I know we talked a little bit about it on the post game, but this was a guy that came in from Notre Dame and had high hopes, Brad. And a lot of people thought, he did come in later in the summer. He missed the spring. So he was here for the summer, but missed spring ball, which sometimes can, when you're a transfer and you don't come into the summer, you get a little bit of a slower start. You would, can maybe speak on that. But, he was listed as an or on the depth chart with Banks before the first game. We heard it was a really close battle, and then he only plays one snap in the first game. So a lot of people are wondering, what happened? Well, then you see him, and yes, it's Eastern Washington. It's not South Florida. It's not the same level of competition when you're trying to, grade guys. But the fourth play he's in there, he, forces the fumble and then makes a nice play, recovering it as he's fallen to the ground. Had another nice play. I think he finished with 7 tackles. I mean, Jaden Mickey, I know the coaches saw in fall camp, they said Banks had won the job and had done, was the better performer in fall camp. But through 2 games, I don't know how Jaden Mickey doesn't earn the majority of the snaps here moving forward.
No, he played really well. I mean, he was a physical tackler. He did have the one mishap in man where he got beat across the top, but he recovered, knocked the ball out late. He's got good ball skills. That's a great example of ball skills, of when to attack the arms. It's almost like the Eastern Washington raised his arms and he immediately just went right for the ball. He deserves the right for more reps. I agree with you 100%. There's no doubt that and he plays with an energy. You know what I mean? It's like I like the kid, and he played well. He deserves more reps. I agree with you 100%. So we'll see, and we'll see how this fits, what their game plan is going to look like, because you're facing the triple option team. So the game plan, the run fits, everything changes here for the next game.
So you need what? You need to focus on put a premium on tacklers in this game.
You need one, you need tacklers. 2, you need extra people around the box, because one's got to take the dive, one's got to take the pitch, one's got to take the quarterback. Right? So you got to play disciplined football. This is the key. disciplined football. You got to play with great eyes. How many times have you seen a Boise State versus Air Force team or Air Force versus anybody in the country? Around the middle of the first quarter, they hit a big pass off a play action and the guy's wide open because they're playing with horrible eyes.
That happens pretty much every time Boise State plays Air Force.
Exactly. So you have to play with great eyes and great discipline. And so that's where they need to find those matchups of tacklers, who they like to get the extra guy in the box, right? And it's all through game planning and then how you prepare for that week. Offensively, I've been with teams or I've seen teams practice. You don't practice with a ball for a little while because doesn't matter. You got to take the dive. So you don't look at the ball. Somebody's got the dive. Somebody's got the quarterback. Somebody's got the pitch. And so the other one is penetration up front. And so I know they changed the rules for cutting, but they're still cutting. So it's Air Force. You don't get calls. So I think that's going to be important. You need disciplined players that are going to tackle and be physical.
Linda says disciplined football. That's scary for this team.
Well, it's a different. Well, yeah, okay, I agree with her. But it's a different. Now you got to go back. Discipline is like the stupid late hit and things like that. You can't have those, right? But also discipline in this regard is where are your eyes? Who are you responsible for, right? And so that's where it's almost you're going to have I've talked about on sportsmanlike conducts with offensive linemen. Sometimes they take them on a late hit and you want it because you need to change the energy of the team. That's where defense is different. You can extend drives. But I think that's in regards of discipline is eye discipline and who you have. That's a different discipline.
Robbie Robinson saying, I would not be shocked if Air Force is the game that makes people miss Alex Tubner the most. That was kind of his kind of game.
Actually a great point. That is his. I mean, he was a downhill disciplined Canijo, disciplined, great eyes and just FBI football intelligence through the roof. Yeah, you're going to miss those kids. There's no doubt about that. That's a good point.
But look, back to the offense briefly before we wrap this up, Brad. There was a comment in there earlier that I can't find now about Dylan Riley deserving more carries. I know the 77-yarder was kind of in quote-unquote garbage time, mop-up time. I mean, that's when he's gotten most of his work the last 2 weeks has been, he's clearly third or fourth on the depth chart here. But he led the team in rushing at 123 yards on 6 carries, did have a touchdown. As I said, had that 77-yard touchdown. And I know it's has nothing to do with kind of on the field, but just the story of him losing his father over the summer and just, kind of pushing forward. And he had some words on his shirt that I don't know if anybody saw what they said. And I think that was some sort of tribute to his dad under his jersey that he lifted up after he scored. And I want to try to, do some more on that. I've requested to speak with him, obviously, but it's obviously he's not ready to talk yet. And you totally understand that. And that's, perfectly fine. And I totally get it. But, at some point he's got quite the story to tell here. And he's been just something that 99.9% of us watching this show or on this show will never, know what it's like to experience. And 2 months later to be back on a field playing and with your guys and scoring a touchdown on national TV. And it's just, just makes you kind of put things in perspective, in life when you're having a rough day or something. And to see him kind of persevere through this, Brad, and now have 2 games that he's had is really, really, cool to see. But I do wonder, what you got Sherrod and you got Gaines. I mean, how he fits into all this, I think is certainly going to be interesting here moving forward. We may have lost Brad, but you there, Brad? We lost Brad for a second. He'll come back in. But I mean, Dylan Riley certainly looks like he needs more action. I just don't know how he gets it. I mean, should he be ahead of Malik Sherrod on the depth chart right now? I mean, we just talked last game about how there's too much distribution. Just give it to Sire Gaines and let him be your guy. I think that's certainly something you can think about. But Brad, I think we got you back now. We were talking Dylan Riley and just, he's looked pretty impressive in 2 games, but you've got Gaines and you've got Malik Sherrod. I mean, some fans are wanting more action for Dylan Riley. What's just your take on how they distribute the carries here moving forward?
I like the way they distribute the carries with, Gaines got 14 carries of the game. I think he deserves most of the load, right?
And he would have got more had they not been up big and he, moved around.
Dylan Riley, I agree with you. How can you not root for the young man? I mean, But if you're going to talk on the football side of it, he had the 77-yarder. He carried the ball 6 times. You're going to look at his average at 20.5, but it's off of a 77-yard run for the longest, right? So does he deserve a lot more? He deserves right more to compete, but I like the load that I thought they delivered the rushes probably properly.
I still think he had over 5 yards of carry though on his other carries. Even if you take out that 77-yarder, he had five for
50,
whatever it would be, 30 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So he's fine. I mean, I think it's good, but this is the issue. Is like last week 1, everybody complained that there's too many backs carrying the ball, right? We
Yep.
need a guy to get in the game and do it right. Now you go on a big win and you give Gaines most of the carries. Now the running backs need more carries. So you can't talk out of both ends of your mouth, in my opinion. I thought it was worked out well. You had explosive plays by, Riley had the 77, Gaines had the 46, and Malik had the 20. So they're all getting explosive runs. I think Tyre's the guy, right? He deserves most of the carries.
Yeah.
And then you spread it out when he needs a rest. But I also want to go back to let's go back to that voicemail.
Let's go back to it, Brad. Where'd you go? Not the greatest internet day for Brad Bedell, looks like here. There we are, Brad. You're muted, I think, or not, or I can't hear you. Where'd you go? Nope. Don't hear you, Brad. Not sure what happened there. Maybe come out and come back in, or I don't know. We're almost done anyway, but we're not sure. Don't have any audio from Brad there. I'm not sure what's going on there, but Sherrod should be used in fly sweeps, not between the tackles. Totally agree with you on that. Can Sherrod catch the ball? He could be used on trick plays. Yeah, I agree with that. I think screen game's a perfect spot for him, but there we go.
Okay, so
you're back.
Go back. Okay, let's go back to that whole situation offensively. So you don't like the way the offensive played, or they made too many mental mistakes, but they have over 600 yards. But so what's wrong with that? I don't understand. And you're going to have miss runs. I mean, come on. That's I just don't agree with that. The other thing is this, and I think he did bring up an interesting point right there. The starters were in the game too long. I thought about this, and after that game, I thought about it. They came out of the game injury-free, right? Well, from what we know. I think Spencer was setting a tone, saying, you're not coming out of this game. You don't deserve the right to come out of this game. I don't care if we're up by 50. You're not coming out of the game. Because if we're going to preach the effort, get in the game, do things the right way, you have to deserve the right to come out of the game. And obviously he felt, or the staff felt, that we want to see effort in the entire game. That means they had the effort in the game, but we want to get you guys deep with a win, and we want to see if that effort's going to change. Because you'll be shocked at how many all of a sudden, well, we're up by 50. Why do I have to run the ball? Because it's the standard. And we want to see you guys hold to the standard when you're up by 50. You didn't hold to the standard when you were down by whatever. So you're staying in this game. And I actually love that. I actually love that they stayed in the game. Because you have to earn the right to get out of the game. And
they had a lot to get figured out. Needed the reps.
Challenge them. I want to see the same. I want to see when we're up by 40. I want to see the same effort when we're 0-0, because that's the standard. And if we're going to talk about a standard, and I am going to make a point of the standard, I want to see the standard.
Surf City Bill disagrees with you. He says Spencer wanted the optics of a big score.
Well, yeah, why not?
What'd you make of the offensive line? Simon says, where's his first comment? He said that there was 3 guys right here. Number 90 was in our backfield all night. At multiple points, we had to dedicate 3 O linemen to stopping him. 1 FCS pass rusher eating 3 of ours on a unit. That was billed as one of the best in group of 5 this season, if not the country. Guess it goes to show Genty really did mask a lot of the problems. Solid win, but we learned pretty much nothing from it.
Well, you learn some things from it. That's number 1. Number 2, if he's talking about pass pro, that's probably the slide just going there. I mean, that's the guard in an odd front can't just sit there and go like this and go, hey, what do I do? I never know what to do with my hands. I mean, go hit somebody. If that's just the way it is, I thought that I thought the O-line had to settle into the game a little bit. I thought the first 3 runs were good. I thought I saw some offensive linemen on the ground that shouldn't have been on the ground. But as the game goes on and you rush for 300 yards, the O-line played a solid game. They didn't give up a sack. Couple of pressures here and there off of play action where they got overextended. I'm agreeing with you there. Those are little things on the jump sets, not getting overextended and things like that. I think they're gonna improve on that, especially if you want a hard play action game. I think that'll improve. But not to learn anything is kind of an opposite way of thinking. But you have that right.
51-14. I think there was plenty to learn, and there was a lot of pauses in this game, Brad. I did want to briefly on the way out here mention some of the other games in the Mountain West, because we went on the pregame show, or maybe it was postgame show, kind of talking about some of the games the next day and what we thought might happen over the weekend. Shout out San Jose State. They lose 38-7. They do cover the 36-point spread. They get a touchdown there, 38-7. They only lost 10-0 in the second half, so they battled there in the second half. Utah State, they hung as well. They lost 44-22. They lost by 22. They actually tied Texas A&M in the second half there as well. So they put up a little bit of a fight, and they covered the big spread as well, losing 44-22. New Mexico was in a tight battle with Idaho State, but they pulled ahead and won that game 32-22. You had Fresno State, as we said, going on the road, getting a nice win against Oregon State, and they've bounced back with, I think, 2 straight nice wins or 3 wins, whatever it is, since that Kansas loss to start the season. Wyoming, big win over Northern Iowa. Nevada, I don't know if you saw much of the game, Brad, or read about it, but Nevada really should have lost that game. There were 2 touchdowns called back in the final 30 seconds due to penalties for Sacramento State. There was some other shenanigans that went on, but Nevada holds on 20-17 to Sacramento State. And then Colorado State, Northern Colorado scores what looks like the game-winning touchdown in the final seconds. It's reversed due to saying it was an incomplete pass. Northern Colorado really getting robbed. Even a lot of the Colorado State media fans, everybody agreeing that it should have been a touchdown. So Colorado State sneaks away with a 21-17 win over Northern Colorado. And then you had UNLV, nice win over UCLA, although it's not the UCLA of old, but UNLV improves to 3-0 with a 30-23 win. You had San Diego State going on the road, getting crushed by Washington State, 36-13. And then Hawaii improves to 2-1. They do win 37-20 over Sam Houston State. Any thoughts on the Mountain West slate?
I was completely wrong on the Utah State game and San Jose State. I thought those two were going to get boat raced. I was wrong, completely wrong. I predicted Fresno State was going to beat Oregon State. I think Oregon State's a bad football team right now. And you want to talk about special teams issues? Holy cow. I thought that UNLV would beat UCLA because they're terrible. UCLA's bad. That quarterback has not played great, and you want to hear some entertainment? There's some funny things going around there. This is what we get for $2 million. Welcome to the NIL world. And the kids are now under a whole heap of pressure, making all the money, and the quarterback didn't play great. Now he got him back in the game with a scramble of 60 to score, but they show their true colors. UCLA is just not very good. I would agree. Colorado State, everybody knows how I feel about Colorado State. Northern Colorado should have won that game. There's no doubt in my mind. I think the refs blew it. And it has to be, there is no way there was true evidence to turn that call around. There was nothing conclusive to turn that thing around. So Colorado State showed their true colors. Their ass. I always said their ass. I'm not on their bandwagon. San Diego State is a surprise for me. I thought that they had a chance to go in there and beat them, and they laid an egg. So the San Diego State is, some people who said, "Oh, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better." They haven't shown that yet. And Nevada, I just thought Nevada was gonna boat race Sac State. I know that's the go-go offense or whatever, but it just didn't look good. I mean, Nevada just didn't look good. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, they didn't. We'll have a Mountain West power ranking story coming up through the first couple weeks here at BroncoNationNews.com. Nathan's going to put that together with some thoughts. But overall, oh, yeah, Trent Bray, by the way, had to apologize because he said the F word in the middle of his
about
interview.
special teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had to apologize. I get it. I actually like it. I mean, nobody wants to hear coaching speak, and all of a sudden he doesn't do coaching speak, and he has to apologize. Well, no, he dropped the F-bomb, which I have a tendency to do too much, which I'm trying to get better at. But he was right. I mean, he was right. I believe he said effing joke, and they were.
That was at the halftime interview, correct?
Yeah. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, the special teams is killing them. They're just not. The quarterback's not the problem there. The defense isn't very good in special teams. At Oregon State, I don't know. For some reason, I don't know why. I thought they'd be better, but whatever.
UNLV 3-0, but I'm not really necessarily sold on them in any of their 3 wins. I mean, they almost lost to, was it to Idaho State the first game or whatever it was, and then I think they. But and like I said, they're 3-0. Good for them. They're going to get a little bit of a test here moving forward. They're at Miami of Ohio, I believe. I don't know if they have a bye week or if that's this week, but their next game is at Miami of Ohio. And then they're at Wyoming and home to Air Force to get going in conference play. And then they're at Boise State. So we'll find out more about UNLV here a little moving forward. But Brad, appreciate you for jumping on, man. Thanks a lot. It was great stuff on the post game. Great stuff today. And appreciate you for hopping on. And bye week. They're practicing a couple times this week. And then I think Thursday morning or Wednesday night or something, they're giving the kids 3 or 4 days off, and the coaches are going to head out recruiting, but still plenty of work they can get done this week.
Plenty of work. There'll be a lot to be done. And the coaches need to get out on the road recruiting. You got to take advantage of that time too. There's two sides of this. If everybody's right now, there's probably some fans out there stating, well, they shouldn't even go on the road recruiting. They should practice all week. Well, you can't do that in college football. And the way of the land right now, if you want a good football team, you got to think 3 years, next year, 2 years, and 3 years down the road. And this is their opportunity to see the committed kids. They're probably getting banged on and getting flipped. And then you can get a lot of work done with a football team in practicing for 3 days. And then, they're pretty healthy right now. So we'll see what happens.
And as you said, probably a nice week to have a bye, get a little extra work this week on the triple option.
It is a good time to get some extra work. And then, they got to play an extra game. So that'll be 3 for Air Force. So you can start to see some tendencies, which will be good. So we'll see what happens.
Air Force this week is playing Utah State conference game.
Even better.
At Utah State too. And that's a late 7:45 game on Saturday the 13th. So that'll be a late night game for Mountain West fans.
Even better. Play that game as late as possible. Get them home as late as possible.
They'll get home about 3 a.m. or so. Yeah.
Yep. And then they got to start marching on Monday. So
looking forward to it. And I mean, we mentioned Saturday and Sunday getting to enjoy football after the win Friday night. It'll be a whole weekend. Much better for having a bye week after a 40-point win or whatever it was compared to a loss. So we'll be able to, Kansas doesn't play this week. So I don't know. Alma Mater's not off, but plenty of football going on. Got some good ranked matchups. You mentioned a conference game to watch. So a lot of football still to be played. And I know Boise State fans will enjoy that this weekend. We got our NFL games as well. Monday Night Football tonight. By the way, Brad, we only lost about 4% of the pool. So all the top 7 favorites, last year, all the favorites were just losing left and right, and they lost like half the pool in the first 2 weeks. The top 7 favorites in the survivor pick, at least yesterday, all won. So
right.
not a lot of carnage, unfortunately.
No, but I don't know. I don't know who took the Bears tonight, but I wouldn't have taken the Bears.
At least we weren't part of it, though.
No, I'm done. I don't have to watch it. I can just watch it and enjoy it. I don't have to worry about it.
It's going to be fun. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Thanks, Brad.
Have a good one.
There he is, Brad Bedell. Appreciate him for jumping on. Appreciate all you guys for checking us out. BroncoNationNews.com. Go subscribe if you can. We'd love to have you at BNN. It's just we got a 60% off sale going on right now. $4 a month, $48 for the full year. We're part of the 24/7 sports family, and we got some great content from the game, 5-6 post-game articles. If you want to know the snap counts from the game, if you want to know the Pro Football Focus grades from the game. Nathan Carroll posted a detailed article yesterday morning for subscribers. How many snaps? And I was very surprised. Who led Boise State's wide receiving core in snaps on Friday night, and who had the highest Pro Football Focus grade on the team in the game? Some very interesting, surprising numbers. You can do that at BroncoNationNews.com. Again, $4 a month right now. Get you a full year of coverage. Take advantage of that deal before it's gone, and you can read all of our analysis and things. And we got a ton of content coming this week as well. Our recruiting roundup will be posted in the next 5-10 minutes. I saw that Chris sent it over during the show. You can see how all the recruits did from over the weekend, all the commits and their stats and things. And so a lot of great content coming all week despite the bye week. And you can do that at BroncoNationNews.com. So have a great rest of your day. We got Riley and Rid tomorrow night. We'll be live at the James. I believe Marco Notriani is going to be our special guest. Maybe DJ Schramm as well. Kind of have the past and the present here at linebacker for Boise State. So I hope you can join us at the James tomorrow night. And we'll talk to you with Jay Tuss tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you over in the message boards at Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com.
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.